Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is about the 10 Bulls of Zen. And it's a topic that I've thought about for a while, but I've never brought up. One of the reasons is I'm not entirely sure. In fact, I'm relatively sure that it's not extremely useful for a mindfulness practice. But nonetheless, it's kind of a fun topic. And more than anything, like why bring it up as a topic is just that there was a period of time that I found the 10 Bulls of Zen to be impactful on my life. And then I reflect back on it and I go, well, I know why I was so interested in it back then. And I understand now why it's not as applicable now. And I guess maybe more than anything about going through the 10 Bulls of Zen, it's to talk about that story. To talk about how it was meaningful, what made it meaningful, when did I first discover it, and then what made me realize that it isn't as useful as I thought it was. So, well, first of all, what are the 10 Bulls of Zen? I'm just going to read an excerpt for you, just so you get some idea. What it is okay. Here we go. I'll just read it. Back in the 12th century, in China's Zen tradition, appeared a series of 10 drawings and their accompanying poems. They were meant to describe the 10 stages on the path to enlightenment, to recognition of our true nature. The series is traditionally named the 10 ox-herding pictures, or more simply, 10 bulls, and its best known version was created by Chinese Zen master Guan Shuyuan. In the 12th century, the present drawings are copies of the original by the 15th century Japanese Zen monk and artist Tenshuo Shugun. The bull herder is an old theme in Buddhist literature of the 1st centuries AD and was borrowed and developed in the tradition of Zen. Although other versions and a different number of drawings, this series with 10 pictures was adopted in Japan and made famous in the West through the 1957 book Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, a collection of Zen and pre-Zen writings by Paul Reps and Nyogen Senzaki. The poems have been translated and commented on numerous times, and it's often the case with Old Chinese, a language which lends itself to so many interpretations. The main contribution of this version of the series that doesn't end with the awakened state shown by a mere circle representing emptiness, but with 2 more drawings where the realization of truth is taken farther into the realm of form or everyday life. As Zen master Jitoku Ki said, "Every worldly affair is a Buddhist work, and wherever he goes, he finds his home." Every worldly affair is a Buddhist work, and wherever he goes, he finds his home air. Like a gem, he stands out even in the mud. Like pure gold, he shines even in the furnace. And then I'll just kind of close this reading with this piece from the Heart Sutra. Form is not different from emptiness, and emptiness is not different from form. Form itself is emptiness, and emptiness itself is form. So I hope that gives like a little, just a little background into what this is, and I think my fascination with it, where I saw it and how it showed up. Sorry. Where I saw it and how it showed up was in my very first meditation retreat in Thailand, which I suppose I talk about this a lot. But behind the monk who was giving the talk, on the back wall were these 10 pictures, and they're all pictures of pictures of the 10 bulls. I guess at the time I didn't know what they were, and I found that, well, maybe as it happens in retreat, as your mind tries to escape the present moment awareness, I went into an area where there's like a little bit of writing and I found writings about the 10 bulls, and I thought it was just so interesting because each one of them represents a different stage of, at least that I found, my meditation practice. And I kind of found, I'm up to bull number 6, right? So I was using it as a gauge to see where I am inside of my own meditation practice. And I found that I liked it so much that I ended up using 10 bulls as, when I was creating my company in Hong Kong, I called my company 10 bulls because I thought it was so, it just resonated with me so much at that time. And I think, what I didn't fully understand at the time, although I had taken MBSR, so I understood the concept of non-striving, but I didn't fully understand it because I used the 10 bulls as a measuring stick of my practice. And I think that maybe that's the key theme of today's talk, is that there isn't, that your practice goes where your practice goes. And I like to use yoga as an example because it's easier to see, because yoga is physical. There's something that happens as we do physical yoga practice. Maybe as we do yoga, what's your flexibility like? Can you straighten your leg, and can you touch your nose to your knee? With a straight leg, is that something that's possible for you? And for some of us it's possible, and some of us it's not. And as we continue doing yoga practice without striving, without trying at all, just by doing our practice regularly, we'll find that eventually the nose gets closer and closer to the knee. And this isn't something that you actually have to try to do. What you do have to try to do is, while you're practicing, put your best effort toward your practice. So when we're meditating, and when, let's go using the yoga example. When I am going towards my right leg, when my right leg is outstretched, for me to use my effort to go into the realm where I do feel discomfort and maybe even a little bit of pain, as long as I know I'm not hurting myself, so that I'm getting the most out of my yoga practice, not because I want to become more flexible. Okay, it's so that I can use my yoga practice as mindful movement practice. And similarly, when we're practicing mindfulness, we find that the mind is wandering away, to simply bring the mind back each time that it happens. And you can't help. And by the way, it's not a short process. If you're doing your practice regularly, you can't help but get a bit better as you continue practicing. So I think this is the real lesson of the Zen Bull, the 10 Bulls of Zen, is not to get caught up in the progress. So I will walk through the 10 bulls, so you'll kind of you'll recognize some things, as we go through the next few lessons. Oh, here I am. This is interesting. This is 12th century drawings and poetry. If nothing else like that, that's attractive. And I like reading through it again. But remember that not to get caught up on where you are in the practice, because I found myself really striving for one of the bulls. I won't say which one. I won't say which one. We can talk about it as we go further, but just seeing like, oh wow, this clarity of mind, this peace, this is what I want. This is what I'm trying to get out of my practice. And it's interesting because we do talk about intention, because we have intention for practice as well. So how does all this stuff work together? How can I have an intention for my practice and not strive to go somewhere to achieve something? I think this is a really important part of our of meditation learning, and it's something that I didn't learn until at least 9 months into my time as a practitioner, and not to say that it was necessarily damaging, but I certainly wasn't necessarily in it for the right reasons, and I found myself I mean, I don't know. I guess it worked out for itself. Is that the more I strived, the more elusive the thing I was striving for became, which was, I think as cryptic as that last Zen piece, right? Form is not different from emptiness, and emptiness is not different from form. Form itself is emptiness, and emptiness itself is form. I feel like this is what it is. There's no, not necessarily a logical structure or even understanding of how meditation works. Just know that as you sit and practice, there is some understanding, I guess, the disengagement of the default mode network, but, without trying to go somewhere, I'm going somewhere. Without trying to achieve something, something is being achieved. I think this is really interesting about meditation practice, and I guess that's why I encourage you to keep practicing. So, all right. The little monk riding the water buffalo while playing the flute. That's actually on one of my old business cards. That's how much I liked it, as I put that exact photo. That's the one that I liked. That's the one I really liked. Anyway, let's get into a practice. So sit comfortably wherever you are. Focus on the body, on the feeling of the body sitting here. Can you feel gravity pulling down on your body? Can you feel gravity in your face? So letting your face relax. Gravity in your shoulders. Letting your shoulders fall down naturally. Letting your arms just hang gently by their own weight. Sitting with dignity, with purpose. And focusing attention on the breathing. Feeling the actual physical sensations of breath. I think sometimes when we're trying to focus on the breath, we're just kind of focusing on some kind of ambiguous concept of breathing. And so I'd like to invite you instead to tune into the actual physical sensations. Tune in, for example, to the feeling of breathing at the nostrils. Can you feel air moving in and out of the nostrils with each breath? The temperature of the air as you breathe in is different from the temperature of the air as you breathe out. Can you be aware of that temperature difference? Each time that you breathe in, you're fully aware that you're breathing in. Each time you breathe out, you are fully aware that you are breathing out. Awareness of breath requires some focus on the subtle. It's a very soft and gentle thing. As the mind wanders, we will find that our ability to pay attention to the in-breath and the out-breath begins to diminish. So if you're breathing in, if you know that you're breathing in, that's usually enough to hold concentration. If you're aware that when you're breathing out, your concentration should be able to be held. You'll find that as the mind wanders, the awareness of breath is gone. Can you tune in to all of the details? Your nostrils are not breathing equally. One nostril's breath is slightly faster than the other. In fact, one nostril's inhalation is faster than the other. One nostril's exhalation is faster than the other, and it may be different from the one that's inhaling. It may not be. It might be the same one. Can you tell? Drinking in these subtle differences. In breath, out breath. Left nostril, right nostril. And every time the mind gets caught up in something, or you find a distracting sound, distracting physical sensation, is it possible to let go of that? Refocus the attention completely on the area of focus. And today, maybe you're focusing on the abdomen or the chest, or maybe you've joined me with attention at the nostrils. Continuing to come back. Notice the details. The air moving across the skin. Where do you feel it? Is it the rings on the inside of the nostrils? Is it the upper lip? So as you continue to explore, I'll leave you in silence. So the last 4 minutes of our practice will be in silence, and I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. right. Well done, everybody. It is time for our practice. Time for practice has completed. So good job. I encourage you to keep up your practice and to keep going. I'm going to just have a quick look at the chat here before I make a little announcement. Tina says it's not a linear process. Yeah, it's not a linear process, but I think the most, the message more importantly is not to, I suppose is more to just to trust the process, and not to try to go somewhere or to get something out of the process. And I think that's written also in a lot of other texts, and as well as in Mindfulness in Plain English. And that was my big mistake. I think my mistake was trying to go somewhere, trying to get something out of my practice, and it wasn't very effective, and in fact caused me to suffer by trying so hard to get somewhere. And I think that's kind of the key message. And Goenka, I always like to make this Goenka quote, patiently and persistently, and you're bound to be successful. Patiently and persistently, you're bound to be successful. And I agree with that. As long as you keep it up, you are going to see results. There's no way for you not to see results if you don't. And, if you continue practicing, you're going to see some result in your practice for sure. And I think this is maybe, I've come across a few skeptics these days, and I think that this is the problem. This is the hard thing about meditation is, and seeing the benefit, is that it takes time. And so if you ask your friend, hey, come meditate with me, and they go, I sat for 30 minutes and I focused on my breath. I made it. I did it. The whole time I was focused on the breath, but I don't see any result. It's like, well, unfortunately, that's not how it works. And I think that this is the issue, is that it does take more than one sit to start to see the benefits. Yeah, some lightning in the background. That's kind of exciting. I don't know what's going on here today. Some baby crying in the background too. So it's probably so there's always excitement going on around here. All right. So announcement is before I go. So one of the things here as we sit is that I suppose the live practice is it's a little different every time. That's one of the joys about being live. You get some background noise. You can hear the train moving sometimes. You can see the lightning flashing. You can hear my baby crying in the background every once in a while. Maybe you want to have a meditation that has a better audio quality, sounds like, and it's audio. You can take it with you. You can play it on the go. Insight Timer's premium tracks are launching soon, and my first 3 tracks are now available. They have not been announced. They won't show up on your notifications. So the only way, if you want to be one of the exclusive first people to try my premium tracks, I've posted a link to all of those in Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle. I'm just going to write that here. And Insight Timer groups, join Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle, and you can see those links to all of those tracks. Dirk was nice enough to share something. Even I shared the links. I think he's put them in the recommended meditation section, so those are good. Why listen to them? First of all, the better audio quality is nice. I've spent quite a deal of effort to make sure those sound really awesome. And have reviewed them a few times. Secondly is, and I'll say, Tina, thank you for your donation. I appreciate that a lot, and I appreciate your donations a lot. But some of you, another way for you to support your favorite teachers on Insight Timer is to listen to their premium tracks or to their courses. So listen to my course if you would. leave some feedback, hopefully some positive feedback, and I'll write back to you as well. And yeah, try it out. Let me know what you think. I'm excited because they just launched, but those courses, or those premium tracks just launched yesterday, kind of like in the middle of your night. And I'd love for you to take a listen to them and see what you like. You know, I like all the tracks. I'd say probably the one that I would recommend you use the most often is the 10 minutes, the high quality version of 10 minutes of mindfulness. Use that, and see how it goes. See if it helps your meditation practice. So yes, and so the tracks are basically, if you're a Plus member, an Insight Timer Plus member, you have access to those tracks. And so really, I love, I mean, donations is the way to really directly have your financial impact on teachers, but also listening to premium content is another way for you to help us out. So I would appreciate it if you can give those tracks a listen and let me know what you think. Self-compassion track is one that I used old John Kabat-Zinn. It's the beginning of my Heartscape meditation as well, if you've listened to that before. So I tried to make them all 10 minutes so that you make them accessible. Find that that's really the length of track that most people want. As I release courses, so this is the other thing that I'm working on, is starting to release courses. I'll actually have courses that link up to those premium tracks as well. So just going to take a little time to get all this infrastructure together. All right, thanks everybody for joining. And I will be back on Thursday morning my time, which might be Wednesday night for you, to really go into a little bit more detail as the 10 Bulls of Zen. Teach a little bit more about what's going on behind them, and to remind you again not to get too caught up in it. I think it's just, for me, this is more just for fun, kind of, to go through this. But it also kind of goes, here's where I am, right? My nose can't quite touch my knee yet, right? I mean, if nothing else, it's kind of a fun way to get some kind of I don't know. I mean, it's some metric. I guess that's it. Is I'm this engineering kind of guy. I love metrics, and that's it. And I'll talk more about that as well. So, all right. Yeah, some kind of relativity, exactly. What's where am I? And I guess that's it. Is why so caught up on where am I? Why can't I just be where I am without having to know where I am? And I think maybe that's the strong lesson here. All right. See you Thursday. Before we go, let's send some well wishes out to each other and to ourselves. So follow along if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life around the universe, including those who have not yet been born, I wish all sentient life happiness and peace. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.